walk with
Yahweh,
me.
rebuke me not in thy anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am weak. O Yahweh, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also vexed. But thou, O Yahweh, how long? Return, O Yahweh, deliver my soul. O save me for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? I am weary with my groaning, and with all the night make my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eyes is consumed because of grief. It waxeth old because of mine enemies. Depart from me, O ye workers of iniquity, for the I am hath heard the voice of my weeping. The I am hath heard my supplication. The I am will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and sore vexed, and let them return and be ashamed suddenly. Psalms chapter 6, a Psalm of David. Yes, and deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm T. Clay, Mr. Clay on YouTube. Yes, the YouTube platform. And we thank God for you, and you. And we also thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have joined or subscribed to us here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed. We give God the glory and the praise. Yes, you're going to learn about these forbidden books. You're going to be able to study them, and maybe I may have said something that will help you understand better why these books were hidden and what they represent. And we thank God for those of you that are about to join, or should I say subscribe. We call those things that are not as though they are. And yeah. Yes, we're in the book of Enoch. In the book of Enoch. In the book of Enoch. That's wrong. We're in the book of Jasher. Oh boy. I had to think about that for a little bit. I guess it's a little early. For a retired old man, I guess. It's a little early. But anyway, here we go again. The book of Jasher, chapter 16 and verse 29. Let me make sure I'm in chapter 16 again, because you know these sometimes we get a little older and we lose it. But anyway, Jasher, verse 29, Jasher chapter 16. And Hagar saw that she had conceived. She rejoiced greatly, and her mistress was despised in her eyes. And she said within herself, this can only be that I am better before God than Sarah, my mistress. Now this was nothing but an evil spirit. This is nothing but an evil spirit. How are you better when she had given you her husband? Her husband didn't come to you talking to you, or he didn't come to see your beauty is better than his own wife. No, he didn't. So this was nothing but how the evil spirit has swayed Hagar's mind, the daughter of Pharaoh, whom he conceived or whom he had made with a servant of his. She said, this can only be, I am better before God than Sarah, my mistress, for all the days that my mistress have been with my Lord. It was true, he's an owner. She did not conceive, but me, the Lord has caused in so short a time to conceive by him. Things come as a test many times. And when Sarah saw that Hagar had conceived by Abram, Sarah was jealous of her handmaid. And Sarah said within herself, this is surely nothing else but that she must be better than I am. Now see, he's playing, see how demons do, or devils do, or the dark side of the moon does? It plays you from both ends. And Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. For at the time when thou didst pray before the I am for children, why does not pray on my account? Why didn't you pray for me? Why didn't you just pray that God open my womb instead of me giving Hagar, giving you to Hagar so you can copulate with her and have a baby, and now she's proud. It wasn't no heavy thing for Sarah to give her husband, because in that time, during all the time, a high percentage after Adam and Eve was done polygyny, or polygyny, however you want to say it. I mean, most men had multiple wives. Either way you want to cut it. I mean, and it still goes on today. Many have multiple wives. I mean, you can cry, rant, and rave, but I mean, if you just want one wife, man, go ahead and have one wife. If you want one husband, woman, have one husband. Don't go knocking the person that decides they want a community and build it around one man that can support them, and he's taking care of them, and he's being that husband, and that confidant and everything else. So, and then they have a community where they have in common this man and the children that he gives them, and what happens? I mean, they have in their heaven. Right? It's just as rough with just one woman for a man. Now, you talking about 4Bs and all this other stuff, soft fellows and all this. Everybody's playing against each other. This is nothing but the act of the enemy. It's the act of the enemy either way. Now let's continue. Now, Sarah's telling Abraham, she says, hey, why didn't you pray for me on my account? And we're going to continue. That the I am should give me seed from thee. I'm in verse 31. And when I speak to Hagar in thy presence, she despises my words, because she has conceived, and thou wilt say nothing to her. May the I am judge between me and thee for what thou hast done. In other words, at that time, she had voiced her opinion and her feelings to her husband. No, just because he had more than one wife and, a concubine and a wife or whatever you call it, he still heard her out. He didn't go slapping her all over the place in the cause grove or nothing like that. He heard her. And Abraham said to Sarah, behold, thy handmaid is in thy hand to do unto her as it may seem good in thy eyes. Now, note, God did tell him, hearken to Sarah. And Sarah afflicted her. Whatever she did, we don't know, but she afflicted her. And Hagar fled from her to the wilderness. In other words, I'm getting out of here. And the angel of the I am found her in the place where she had fled by a well. And he said to her, do not fear, for I will multiply thy seed, for thou shalt bear a son. Now, you realize Abraham's seed is holy. It's clean before the Most High because of Abram. Now, this is that reason. And he said, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, for now then return to Sarai thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. Verse 35, and Hagar called the people of that well Bir Lahairoi, or Bir Sheba, or whatever you want to call it. It is between Kadesh and the wilderness of Bered. And Hagar at that time returned to her master's house, and at the end of the days, Hagar bare a son to Abram. And Abraham called his name Ishmael. And Abraham was 86 years old when he begot him. Now we're entering into chapter 17. And in those days, in the 91st year of the life of Abraham, the children of Chittim, now we're going up into the upper parts of the north. They're coming down from the north, made war with the children of Tubal. Now, Tubal, this is sort of like around the Russian area. For when the I am has scattered the son, now you go back to Jasher chapter 10. We talk about that a little bit. And here's about it. And then do your own research as you will. Now, for when the I am has scattered the sons of men upon the face of the earth, the children of Chittim went and embodied themselves in the plain of Canopia. And they built themselves cities around and dwelt by the river Tabur. These are in the north parts. This is above. And the children of Tubal, now this is leading to something we shall see later on in the book. And the children of Tubal dwelt in Tuscana. That's around Croatia. That's in the area of Croatia, okay? And their boundaries, that's where Tuscana is said to be. We'll put it that way. And their boundaries reached to the river Tabru. In other words, they had a vast area. And the children of Tubal built a city in Tuscany. You're Tuscanese. They would say it's in Italy, but that's just what they named it there. But it's an area. It's a huge area. And they called the name Sabna. And after the name Sabna, the son of Tubal, their father, and they dwelt there unto this day. And it was in that time that the children of Chittim made war with the children of Tubal, and the children of Tubal were smitten before the children of Chittim. And the children of Chittim caused 370 men to fall from the children of Tubal. And at that time, the children of Tubal swore to the children of Chittim, saying, "You shall not intermarry amongst us, and no man shall give his daughter to any of the sons of Chittim." That's what he said. For all the daughters of Tubal were in those days fair. No woman were then found in the whole earth so fair as the daughters of Tubal. These are the sons of Japheth. Okay? And all who delighted in the beauty of women went to the daughters of Tubal, and took wives from them. And the sons of men and kings and princes who greatly delighted in the beauty of the women took wives in those days from the daughters of Tubal. They had beautiful women. The sons of Japheth really had beautiful women. We're talking about those who came from Noah, okay, who dwelt in that land. Now, at the end of 3 years after the children of Tubal had sworn to the children of Chittim not to give them their daughters for wives, about 20 men of the children of Chittim went to take some of the daughters of Tubal, but they found none. Where the women go, man? Where the women go? And the children of Tubal kept their oaths not to intermarry with them, and they would not break their oaths. And in the days of harvest, the children of Tubal went into their fields to get their harvest. And when the young men of Chittim assembled and went into the cities of Sabinah, then a man took a young woman from the daughters of Tubal, and they came to their cities. Where is this going? Okay. Now, in verse 10, and the children of Tubal heard of it, and then they went to make war with them. And they could not prevail over them, for the mountains was exceedingly high from them. And when they saw that they could not prevail over them, they returned to their land. And the revolution of the year of the children of Tubal went and hired about 10,000 men from the cities that were near them, and they went to war with the children of Chittim. And the children of Tubal went to war with the children of Chittim to destroy their land and to distress them in this engagement. The children of Tubal prevailed over the children of Chittim, and the children of Chittim, seeing that they were greatly distressed, lifted up the children of Chittim, which they had by the daughters of Tubal upon the wall. In other words, they took the babies, the women that they married of Tubal, the daughters of Tubal, they took the babies and put them on the wall. This is hideous. And had been built to be before the eyes of the children, but this wasn't hideous in their sight. You have to realize many times we are conditioned to see such a thing. As back in that time, there wasn't such a thing to be conditioned to. They wasn't desensitized to these things. We're desensitized by commercials, by PSAs, by movies, and all manner of things that we would have been really hardened and calloused. Now we're desensitized. Now we're sensitive to it. Now, upon the wall which had been built to be before the eyes of the children of Tubal. And the children of Chittim said to them, "Have you come to make war with your own sons and daughters?" Look at them. You know, what are you doing? You're trying to kill your own babies? These come from you. And now, in the estimation here, when a woman marries, she is a part of that people that she married into. The man is the people that she goes to. He might leave his mother and father, have his own house, and cleave to his wife or whatever you want to call it. But the fact is, a woman becomes a part of that nation until that man dies. Not only you marry the man, you marry his family, his city, his neighborhood, and you've married his nation. But in this day and time, you have been desensitized to these things of family and nation and peoples. See, many women don't understand. The man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Period. With God, you can argue, look at all things you want to do. You can do what you want to do, jump through headstands and cartwheels. I don't care. The woman is of the man. Now, even in marriage, the woman is of the man. You are part of his household. And many of you know this. Why do you think women would always go back to the man's family when things go wrong? I mean, if things go haywire or he acts a fool. The family usually takes the woman in, especially if she had babies for him. Now, and we have not considered your flesh and bones from this time till now. And when the children of Tubal heard this, they ceased to make war with the children of Chittim, and they went away. In other words, these women they had babies with women that were once a part of us. In other words, they knew that they had joined the nation of Tubal, but Chittim said, "Hey, all right, we consider this thing." And they returned to their cities, and the children of Chittim at that time assembled and built 2 cities by the sea, and they called one Purtu, and the other Arizah. And Abraham, now we're getting somewhere, the son of Terah, was then 99 years old. And at that time the I Am appeared to him, and he said unto him, I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will greatly multiply thy seed. And this is the covenant which I will make between me and thee, that every male child be circumcised, thou and thy seed after thee. Now we've read this before in the book of Jubilees. Now 18, at 8 days old, it will be circumcised, and this covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. But this thing ceased to be once the children of Jacob or the children of Israel decided they will not follow the ways of the Most High. You follow African spirituality, you follow Egyptian myths, you follow Greek myths, you follow Roman myths, you followed all kind of Christianity and everything else. But the fact is, your parents even forgot to tell you that, hey, you must circumcise your sons at 8 days. All these things have been pushed up against you because of the sins of your forefathers not teaching their children. Let's continue. Now, therefore, thy name shall not be no more called Abram, but Abraham. I don't know where that goes. Or Mahadarba, you can say it backwards. And thy wife shall no more be called Sarah, but what they took the I and took an H up there. But Sarai. Well, and stories for other days. But I will bless you both, and I will multiply your seed after you, and you shall become a great nation, and kings shall come forth before you. Now the kings came forth because of what? Because Abram, the children of Jacob, rejected the Most High. He knew that was going to happen. He wanted to be like everybody else. Chapter 18 and verse 1. And Abraham rose and did all that God had ordered him, and he took the men of his household and brought with his money, and he circumcised them as the I Am commanded him, and there was not one left that he did not circumcise. And Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised, and the flesh of their foreskin. 13 years old was Ishmael when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And in the 3rd day, Abram went out of his tent and sat at the door to enjoy the heat of the sun. I heard one woman she's a very dark woman, beautiful woman. She says, you need to get out into the sun. Yes, you do. You do. Enjoy the heat of the sun sometime. Just sit out in the sun. Don't worry about how dark you get. Just sit there. Have a good time. You won't get skin cancer because you're not going to be out there all in the sun days and days after days like that. But enjoy the sun. You're a child of the sun. Yes. Now, in the 3rd day, Abraham went out of his tent and sat and enjoyed the heat of the sun during the plain of his flesh. And the I Am appeared to him in the plain of Mamre and sent 3 of his ministering angels to visit him as he was sitting at the door of the tent. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, lo, 3 men coming from the distance. And he rose up and ran to meet them. And he bowed down to them and brought them into his house. And with that, we're going to say, peace. Yes.